cultural, maybe their regulatory, bureaucracy, etc., for some of your successes as well?
Technology term, it's about changing life. This is from the other country experience. The communication technology deployment will definitely for sure boost the whole economy. So in that, if we have 3G and there gonna be some change about your business or your life. So that's why communication always is very important for people's life. And I'm sure that there will be some positive change in this part.
Any other questions? Or to bring know-how back to China, whereas in a lot of countries that we deal with, the investment comes with know-how to the destination country. Do you see it the same way with Chinese investors outside of China? And is that, if you do see it that way, is that
Chinese have? They are willing to share with the joint venture company in Ukraine. There is a big potential, and it's not. I haven't been involved in the projects about investing into raw materials like mining or something. I know that they exist and they're big, and mostly they are government-backed. So it's mostly about state interest. But I'm talking about the huge interest on this, like 1 billion entrepreneurs in China.
Process. We are in process to make all the procedure relevant and finalizing, and we are looking forward to successful project. I don't see any confusion, but I guess you was not present here in the team. It's not good custom to come in the middle of the event and make a little bit confusion for everybody. Thank you.
Okay, we have a question here in the corner.
It's not a question actually. It's a response to earlier question about general Chinese overseas investment, the trend of investment, where what they're looking for, and what which industry sector they're going to. Hello? Yes. We are representing Chinese companies on their global investment basis. That's part of my practice in China. We call China outbound investment, or overseas investment by Chinese companies. Over the past decade or so, Chinese overseas investment by Chinese companies have increased a lot. Last year, the figure was, I believe, just over 100 billion US dollars. The first time the outbound investment exceeded the inbound investment from other countries. So China, in that sense, China has become a net capital exporter. It's really a historical change. But they are changing in both ways. Industry sector-wise, the first round of wave of Chinese investment are more in the resource sector, energy, mining, resource focused, because China needs that big supply of resource and energy mining products from all over the world. So you see the big ticket deals all happen in these sectors, and mostly involving Chinese state-owned companies like the 3 big oil companies, the big mining companies in these sectors. Last year, we represented the Chinese mining company called Me Metals in their $5.8 billion US dollar investment in a copper mine in Peru in South America. That was the biggest deal of Chinese outbound investment. It's actually a deal awarded by the entire world. But we see a more diversified trend of Chinese outbound investment in terms of the geographic location. So they are going not only to places where they are resource-rich countries like Canada and Australia, or the focus of Chinese big investment in the initial year period. But they are going everywhere. In recent years, there's actually an increase of Chinese investment.
Technology. One of the areas that has been discussed historically, recently, but still historically, is agriculture. Do you see areas and interest from Chinese investors in this particular sector, or perhaps any others that we haven't mentioned?
Oh, I think initially people will think about the agriculture and the machinery as the focus of the interest so far. I have seen Chinese companies, I think one of them is CEC, who do a big deal with the Ukraine National Food Company on the $1.5 billion deal of the loan for food transaction back 2 or 3 years ago. There are Chinese interest in the manufacturing sector. I think especially advanced equipment manufacturing. Everybody knows the first aircraft carried in China was initially made in Ukraine. Right? So there was genuine interest in Ukraine manufacturing capability, in advanced technologies in industry areas, manufacturers. I think they are going to be more interested in infrastructure as well, because we know that Ukraine need an upgrade of the system, the transportation system, the facilities to allow more developed framework in the infrastructure, and also to ship products outside. So there are genuine attractions to Chinese investment, but as just Alex, I believe, and Robert mentioned, there really need to be an upgrade or improvement of the environment of the. There need to be a creation of more investment or investor-friendly legal and cultural network, cultural environment. If you look at what Chinese investors are doing, they are not so different from Western companies. I mean, Huawei is a global competitor. It's like Ericsson, it's like Siemens. They are competing with their Western peers in the industry. They are not very much different from the other companies from Europe, from North America. They are looking for a stable investment environment, a clear network, legal network. So that's why in recent years you see Chinese investment going more and more to developed countries like United States and Europe. I think both of them attract over $10 billion Chinese investment last year. They are the single most important destinations of Chinese investments. China investment is shifting away gradually from just a resource or focus on resource regions. They are shifting more to places where they can expect stable return of the investment. They can do operations in a longer term, which is not just to buy oil wells and bring them over to China. I think that's an old profile. It's no longer true.
Thank you. BJ, you have a question in the back? Work to be done at the Ukrainian government level, and I know that they're working very hard and diligently to create an environment here in Ukraine that is attractive for investors globally, and that after 20 years of neglect, that requires an immense amount of reform-minded work in the months and years to come. It's not going to, and I think it's a good indicator, hopefully, for Ukraine, that if Ukraine can take those steps to become a more attractive investment destination, we'll start to capture more of that $120 billion last year of investment capital that came from China globally. So with that, I'd like to thank our panel once again for taking the time out of your day to join us and to spend time with the business community here. Thank you, Alexei, for the last minute agreement to join our panel. A round of applause for our panel, if you don't mind. Thank you. I would just like to invite Natalia to the stage just for some closing remarks.
Good evening again. I hope you all found the discussion productive, and I hope you'll continue it in our special evening reception that we've planned for you with the Confucius Institute. As I said in the beginning, what we really hope to achieve today is to bring all China-related expertise under one roof for a constructive discussion. We also hope to bring to the spotlight key pain points and barriers that are preventing and standing in the way of economic relationship that, in view of many, has enormous potential. However, we all realize that issue as complex as this requires not just one conference or not many conferences. Therefore, we hope that as a follow-up, you connect and continue to work towards actual practical results. And I'd like to thank you all for coming, for your very active participation. Special thanks to the speakers and to the Minister of Economy, to the Deputy Minister of Energy. I know you have a lot on your plate and took time to be here today, as well as our guests from China. Thanks to our partners, without whom this event would not be possible. This is DHL, Q&A, Corman Group, and China Communications, and our lead partner, Dentons. As I said, this is KyivPost 20th anniversary year, and this conference opens the entire series of events, and there's a lot to look forward this year, including our annual Tiger Conference in the fall, as well as our career fairs and other formats, new formats that we hope to introduce, like CEO breakfast and other events. Therefore, thank you all for coming and stay with us in 2015. Enjoy your reception.
Я помечу, что вы хотите из Вашингтона.
Fashion, again fashion. Fashion like hot fashion, Света. Я змінювалася взагалі епохи, і як це було? Як це відомо?
Super grant.
Or not only work by professional
Хорошо по-английски. Очень хорошо.
Ну, на чому ми підіймо, коли чай йде.